it's Hiedi Scott with DIYDreaming, and on this video, this DIY flower video, I'm going to show you how you can turn coffee filters, and you can get these at Dollar Tree for nothing, for $1.25, into this kind of a flower, and this kind of flower that looks like a hydrangea. So that is what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to show you the easy way. Okay, let me move these out of my little working area, and let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to be using coffee filters and some paint. I'm doing a pink and red, and then a blue and lavender. And the pink and red ones are going to be made with Waverly paint in crimson and Waverly paint in ballet slipper. Okay, and then the hydrangea ones are going to be made with Waverly paint in lagoon and this bluebell lavenderish color. I didn't have a Waverly paint in lavender. I don't know if they make it or not. Anyways, and then I'm just going to use some dowels and my hot gluing device. All right, so let's do a red and pink flower first. And this is just a paper bowl that has the pink with water. It probably has, well, you're just going to keep adding paint until it looks like you have a pretty saturated thing going there. And I just use forks to stir it up. Okay, so you might as well do a couple at a time, right? I'm going to do 3. And just to make it easy, which is hard to get them apart. What do I have here? Do I have 3 or do I have 4? I have 3. So let's put this one back. You could do more. I pulled them apart, and then I'm going to fold them in half. And then I'm going to fold that in half again. And then I'm going to fold that in half again. And you can stop here or you can fold it another time. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so these are some that I made this morning, and you have 2 choices. You could do some that have a red center and a pink outside. I did a variety. Or some that have a pinkish center and a red outside. It's totally up to you. And so I have my 3 coffee filters ready to go. Crumple them up a little bit. Let's do the pink in the center and the red on the outside. Okay, so it's just all folded and crumpled up. And I'm dipping it in the pink, and then I'm going to squeeze that out. And then I'm going to dip it in the red. Get this stirred up a little better. So I just took a blob of those 2 colors of paint, put it in each little paper bowl, and then I added water and I stirred. And I don't have an exact measurement. I just did it by eyeball until it looked pretty saturated. So I dipped it, and now I'm going to squeeze out the excess. When I first started working on this morning, I also had gloves on. But then I gave up on them because they were driving me crazy. So let me put these back over here, and I'll show you what is next. Then you're going to spread it out. I'll show you what these look like. See? They do dry much lighter, And be sure that your surface and your clothing are protected because paint is permanent. And I have some blobs on my desk, which I'm hoping I can get off. Okay, so I am just going to work off of this paper plate and just put something heavy on here. And I am using my blow dryer, but you could use a heating device. You could, last year when I made these, I just put them outside on a tray on our table on our porch so that they could get dried by the sun. But it's not nice in Atlanta today, so I'm going to use a blow dryer. We're not making poppies. We're just making something that looks, oh, excuse me, kind of like a peony and then kind of like hydrangeas. So this is boring to watch, but I would just keep going until each layer is fully dry. All right, so let me set this aside because it's not dry, we're not going to use it. To do the blue ones that become hydrangeas, get 3 pieces. And it is easier to take them apart eventually if you separate them just a little bit before you dye them. Okay, for the hydrangea looking ones, ooh, let me get this cleaned up. I did the lavender and some of that bluish turquoisey color. Chris says she loves this craft. I'm so glad. Okay, so here's my stack of 3. I'm just going to fold it in half, and then fold it in half, and then fold it in half. And this is what you get. Okay, let's do the purple in the center, although you can do a whole mix. It's up to you what you want to do. Let me put a purple on a paper plate. Well, I'll do that in a minute. So I just let it soak in the purple for a second. I'm going to squeeze that out. And then I'm going to dip it in the other end in the turquoise, the bluish color, which I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking that I needed some more water in here, but that's okay. This is going to work just fine. And this is what that's going to look like. You know, each one looks different, which is what makes it so cool. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next step. So let me move these bowls out of my way. And wipe my hands off. And then we'll go on to the next step. Wow, there's a lot of people on. Thank you for joining me. If you like this super easy craft, feel free to sprinkle or ask questions. I mean, it's basically paint that has been diluted with, let me grab some paper towels, with water, and then coffee filters that are dipped in it and then dried. And then what you're going to get is you're going to get a stack of flowers. And you're going to want between 6 and 8 pieces per flower, or even more. So let's make the ones that look kind of like peonies. I'm just going to grab a variety. I'm mixing them up a little bit. 2, 3, 4. You can see how different they all look. Okay, I have 8. 1, 2, 3. 7, 8. All right, there's 8. And we're gonna fold, 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 fold. One fold more than what we did to dip them. And so I think it's, well, I'll show you. And then we're gonna cut these 2 little lumps just by eyeball at the end. And I'm gonna do 4 at a time with this one because that's not super intricate, but when we do the ones that look like hydrangeas, that's a little more complicated. I'll probably only do 2 at a time. Okay, so one fold. That was in half. Now we're in a 4th. This might be too thick. I think it is gonna be. Let's just do 2 at a time. A 4th, then an 8th, and then a 16th. And hopefully these are sharp. I'm just going to cut something that looks like 2 lumps, or it kind of looks like a heart when you're done. Can you see? And I'll toss this. These are going to be all crumpled and messy looking, so they do not have to be, you know, exact in what you're cutting. So I'm going to cut 2 at a time for a total, 4 times for a total of 8. So I'm just doing 2 little Okay, one more. Oops, I guess I didn't get 2 in every time. So I have 1 left. So you could do 6, 7, or 8. Whatever you would like. And we're going to start gluing here soon, so stay with me. I know this part is boring. But I showed just a few minutes ago how to dye these. And if you missed that, you can ask me for the video replay, and I'll get that for you. Or you can hop over to my YouTube channel and find this video and 100 more flower videos under my DIY flowers playlist on my YouTube channel. Okay, so this is what they end up looking like. If you want, you could do smaller little those. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to mix this up so that I have a mix of what the what the coffee filters look like. Just a second. Okay, let's put that one on the last one. And I'm just kind of alternating them to get a variety. So it's like, can you see how they're alternated? is made with crimson Waverly paint diluted and ballet slipper Waverly paint diluted. Okay, and so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start your back layer, and you're going to put a blob of glue in the center, and you're going to lay down one piece, and we're going to scrunch this up, and we're going to scrunch this one up just to get us started so you can see what is going to happen. Okay? I'll wait till I get them all stacked up. But I'm wanting to put dowels in these. So these are just wooden dowels that came from probably Walmart. Probably in the children's section because it says you have to be 3+ years old. And I'm just going to glue a dowel here 2 layers in. And then we'll keep layering. Put a blob of glue in the center. When I made the other ones a year or so ago, I'll show you what I put them on. I put them on this wired stuff. And shish kebab skewers. These here are going to stand more forward facing. Okay, so here's my giant. It kind of looks like a peony to me when it's finished, but some kind of flowery thing. And I'm going to just go into the center one and scrunch it up. Then I'll scrunch up the next layer and the next layer. This is what I'm doing basically. I'm going to do it with these layers too, but we won't be able to do as much at the bottom because I have it glued to my dowel. Okay, that's not very pretty yet, but I'm going to start to pull some of it out. It's so much prettier already. And you guys, I don't know how many coffee filters you can get at Dollar Tree for $1.25, but a whole bunch. I think these I personally think these look better on the white coffee filters, but you could get a whole different look by doing this with the natural ones that are kind of a tan color. So I'm just pulling each layer out and uncrumpling it a little bit. I think I may leave the very center crumpled up. Is this the very center? Yes, it is. You're just going to play with it until you get it how scrunched or not you want. And there you go. That is what it looks like when you have one layer in the center that I didn't uncrumple, but let me uncrumple it now and show you what it would look like if I... Either way, it's really pretty. What do you guys think? So if you wanted this to be two-sided or enormous, you could stack up more than 8 pieces. And there's a million different ways that you can create leaves. So really what I'm doing today is I'm just showing you the basics of a super easy coffee filter flower. And you don't have to have Waverly paint. It could be just diluted with water in the colors that you want. Whatever makes you happy. Okay, so that was number 1. And number 2 is a little bit more complicated. And I have a whole stack of this blue and purple. Some of these are not super dry yet. I'm just going to mix them up. Put one on top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have either 8 or 9 here. Okay, so first thing is the folding, and the cut for this is different. So I'm going to try to get these smoothed out for the folding. Susan says, have you tried doing one front and back? No, but you certainly could. And I may finish this up off camera. Okay, it's folded once. It's folded a second time. And then it is folded a third time. And then I'm going to fold it one more time. Okay. And then I'm going to draw on this because it's a lot easier to cut out if I've drawn on it. Okay. And I'm going to draw 4 circles. And then I'm going to kind of shape it like a tree. This is really hard to see, so I think you'll understand. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 circles, and then like a tree root. Can you guys see? And if you're cutting out multiple at the same time, just be really careful that you don't accidentally snip off the end of your finger or something. Okay, I did the top. Now I'll do in between these, has just a little bit of space. I'm going to do the bottom circle and then the tree. Okay, that is not hard to cut, it's just hard to explain. Again. And every time I do it, I do draw because it's just so much easier. Circle, 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 tree trunk. I have made the sauce to dye these out of all kinds of different things. I've made it out of watercolors. I've made it out of ink from magnoliadiy.com. So you can use food coloring, but I think craft paint is just super easy. So that's what I opted for today. And most people have some craft paint. Okay, here's our next one. All right, let me show you what these are going to look like when you unfold them. You're going to say, wow, this is going to turn into a hydrangea? I don't think so. But it is. Looks like a snowflake. And sometimes you get your little balls, the 4 little round pieces. Sometimes they get cut so they're completely separated from the piece next to it, and sometimes they don't. It does not matter. Here's the next one. And let's start with this because I don't want you to have to wait through multiple layers. So I will come back and finish this up off camera, but you basically are going to get the gist of it. Okay, I'm going to take a dowel and I'm going to put it in between the first 2 layers. Okay, so I need to put a blob of glue in the center between the back layer. Oopsie. And then I'm just going to put not quite so much glue here. Let's see how I have that on there to hold it up. And then we'll do our next one. And I would keep going until I have 8. And then we're going to basically do the same thing. You might even want more than that for the hydrangea. I'm just crumpling up each layer separately. So this would be a very thin hydrangea. Hey from Romania. Hi Adela, how are you? Okay, so this is what it looks like. And let me just pull it open so you can kind of see. But I would have kept cutting more layers. Until I had, probably for these, at least 8 pieces, if not more. These are a little bit harder to uncrumple because you've got these little things that look like trees. Okay, and I don't know what it resembles right now, but this is what it looks like when you have multiple layers. And for this one, I put it on a piece of wire, floral wire, and I wrapped a green, what do they call these? Chenille stems. We called them pipe cleaners when I was a little girl, around it. And scrunched it really good, and that's what this would look like. I mean, look how great just a few more layers are. And as we said, you could also do layers on the back and crumple that as it gets closer and closer to the center. And that would resemble like a two-sided hydrangea. I think I'll definitely do that. What takes the most time is this process of dyeing your coffee filters and then letting it dry. And I'm terrible at waiting. So for me, the waiting for it to dry is the hardest part. Whoops. So what do you guys think? Pretty cute. Then you could put them in. The easiest thing to do is a glass jar like this. And this might sound weird, but I've done this for years. And these are split peas from the grocery store. There's probably 3 packages in there. And then I'm just poking my flowers in there. And I would do the same thing. They'd be taller. Or you could cut your stems off shorter. Your wood dowels, if that's what you opt to use. And there you go. Some beautiful hydrangeas. And you can use any color combination that reminds you of hydrangeas, really, or peonies, or whatever kind of flower you want to make. They're obviously not real, but they are pretty and they're fun. And it's a fun activity to do with little people, especially the part where you're dipping and dyeing and scrunching everything. If you were doing this with little people, I would use something like this for the center and to glue the dowel in. This is Eileen's Tacky Glue. I probably wouldn't use a hot gluing device if I was doing it with, you know, kids. But anyways, these turned into these. I hope you liked this tutorial. Feel free to sprinkle, feel free to ask questions. Yeah, easiest coffee filter flowers using craft paint, water, dowels, and white coffee filters from Dollar Tree. Okie dokie, do with this or this if you feel like it. That's a heart. Can you tell what that is? Or say something to me like, I love flowers, and let me know that you were here. I hope that you have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. If you decide to make these flowers, these coffee filter flowers, I definitely would love to see. So let me see your pictures, and I will see you guys